Tom Cameron Swayze.
Chad Huntley. David Brinkley. John Chen. Tom Brokaw.
Hurricane Katrina, winds over 165 miles an hour, projected to be one of the most powerful storms ever to hit the United States. Impact. New Orleans under orders to evacuate as the Category 5 storm aims for the Gulf Coast, with fears oil prices could soar. The future of Iraq. Voters in that country will decide on a new constitution. The Sunnis say no. President Bush warns of more violence. And one family's miracle, a plane crash that kills dozens, but one whole family survives.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with John Seigenthaler.
Good evening, everyone. Hurricane Katrina is about to unleash her fury on the Gulf of Mexico tonight. It could be one of the worst storms ever to hit the U.S. The first bands of Katrina are now blowing through southern Louisiana as the hurricane continues on its course toward New Orleans. It is a dangerous Category 5 storm with winds that were up to 175 miles an hour earlier today, now down to around 165 miles per hour. More than 1 million people have been ordered to leave their homes. And we'll have reports from Houma, Louisiana, Mobile, Alabama. We'll take a look at the track of this storm and the impact it could have on oil and gas prices in this country. But we begin with what appears to be ground zero, New Orleans. And that's where NBC's Martin Savage is tonight. Good evening, Martin.
Good evening, John. The mayor of New Orleans has declared that a curfew will go into effect 1/2 hour from now. It will be dusk till dawn. Many people here are wondering just what that dawn will bring.
For the city of New Orleans, it is the doomsday scenario. Katrina is the storm city officials always feared was out there, but prayed would never strike.
God bless us.
The mayor of New Orleans declared a mandatory evacuation.
This is very serious, and it's of the highest nature, and that's why we're taking this unprecedented move.
A move backed up today by President Bush.
We cannot stress enough the danger this hurricane poses to Gulf Coast communities. I urge all citizens to put their own safety and the safety of their families first by moving to safe ground.
The president of neighboring Jefferson Parish put it more bluntly.
Literally, you're looking at martial law at the podium right now.
That put the Big Easy in a big hurry to go.
We're going east because everyone else is going west.
But in most places, the going was tough as highways clogged. Downtown streets had a different traffic. Bianca Brusau is from San Francisco and desperately looking for a hotel.
We're gonna go stay with my sister so we could all be together.
They are among the lucky ones. Most hotels are sold out. For others, rooms are unaffordable and leaving impossible.
I can't get out. How am I gonna get out?
New Orleans' famous Superdome was dubbed the city's shelter of last resort. And judging by the line to get in, many believed it. With good reason. The waterways where New Orleans has worked and played for centuries now threaten the city from nearly all sides, poised to drown it in what officials call a toxic gumbo.
All of the toxins around the area, all of the toxins that are under your kitchen sink.
Katrina's even ended the party on Bourbon Street as bars and businesses shut down and board up. For many, that alone sent a more chilling message than the words of any city official.
When the French Quarter shut down like it is, everybody's concerned.
And even before this storm has really struck, there are problems. Let's take you now over to the Superdome. The line to get in has grown all day long as people get more desperate and more frustrated because the process of bringing them in has been very slow and difficult as they search every single person. They are hoping to get that place filled to capacity. Many people are trying to get in at this hour. John?
NBC's Martin Savage. Martin, thank you. Now, just southwest of New Orleans is the town of Houma, where many residents have decided to ride out this hurricane. NBC's Don Teague is there for us tonight. Don?
Good evening, John. As you can tell by the shrimp boats behind me, this town is dangerously close to the Gulf of Mexico. The boats have come here seeking safe harbor, but tonight there are no guarantees. Some 50 miles from the congestion and chaos of New Orleans, residents of the bayou town of Houma, Louisiana, are quietly preparing for the worst. Those who could left this shrimping community by late morning. The nursing home was evacuated hours ago.
We're trying to get these people out of harm's way and get them to a safe place.
It's scary.
But many here, like Donna Lowry, say they can't afford to leave. She'll ride out the storm on a shrimp boat crammed into Homa's tiny canal, her 3-year-old daughter and her boyfriend, who works on the boat, by her side.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. I know it's probably going to be bad.
Come on. Just 2 blocks away, brothers Stan and Kent Jarbo will make their stand in a home that used to belong to their grandmother.
Move it some more.
It's old, but has withstood decades of storms. They're bringing family and friends here mainly because the county's hospital is across the street.
If anything, gets really bad, I can go right here to the hospital. Hopefully it's not going to be that bad, but you never know.
No, you don't. They know about the danger of hurricanes here. They have lived through many before, but everyone I spoke with today expects this one to be the worst ever. John?
NBC's Don Teague. Don, thanks. What a difference a day makes. In Mobile, Alabama, many residents there were expecting to be spared Katrina's wrath, but tonight there are serious concerns about flooding. NBC's Ron Mott is there. Ron?
John, good evening to you. Here in Mobile, they are bracing for Category 1 winds at 75 to 80 miles an hour when Katrina arrives. But the real fear here is the potential for storm surge. From wait and see yesterday to duck and cover today.
This is not a joke. This is for real.
Hurricane Katrina now has the undivided attention of Alabamans along the Gulf Coast, where the water is already splashing and rising on Dauphin Island.
We need to go on and get down here and get it boarded so we can get out of here before the roads close.
Running out of time, the clamor to flee grows louder.
There's going to be an impact in Mobile County, a possible Category 4 to 5 surge.
A surge, officials say, that could reach 15 to 20 feet, potentially flooding downtown Mobile for several square miles.
So this is a very large circumstance. It's a very serious issue.
Back on Dauphin, residents prepare to get out, uncertain of the future, worried the island itself might be history.
We've been down here for over 35 years, and I just don't think we're going to have an island. It's just such a treasure, but I don't think we're going to have it.
One emergency official here says the area could be in store for an even bigger blow if this unpredictable storm jogs to the right back here toward the east. John?
NBC's Ron Mott in Mobile. Ron, thank you. Now to the path of the storm, and we turn to NBC Weather Plus meteorologist Bill Cairns. Bill, what's the latest?
Well, John, the forward speed of the storm has increased. We now expect Katrina's hurricane-force winds to reach the Louisiana coastline as early as this evening in New Orleans before sunrise. Take a look at the path here. This is an update from the National Hurricane Center. A Category 5 storm making landfall the southern Louisiana coastline at about 6 a.m. The worst timeline there for New Orleans will be 9 a.m. local time to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice how far inland we expect the storm to still be at Category 4 strength all the way to the Louisiana-Mississippi border. John, time is running out for Katrina to significantly weaken. It appears that a Category 5 hurricane will make landfall for only the 4th time in U.S. history.
Bill Cairns. Bill, thank you very much. Now, Hurricane Katrina also threatens a key source of this country's energy supply, oil and natural gas production in the Gulf of Mexico. This could mean even higher prices at the pump and in American homes this winter. NBC's Rosalind Jordan reports.
Oil workers in the Gulf of Mexico off the job for their own safety tonight as Hurricane Katrina moves in. But no shelter for what the mayor of New Orleans is calling one of his city's most important businesses.
We probably produce about 25% to 30% of the nation's domestic oil. If we get shut down with this hurricane, that's going to impact the price of oil significantly.
Energy analysts agree. They predict the price of a barrel of oil could jump to more than $70 on Monday. Compare that to Friday's closing price, just above $66.
$80 to fill up my truck.
What could that spike mean for consumers, already paying record gasoline prices? NBC global energy analyst Daniel Yergin.
Hurricane Katrina could add another 20 to 30 cents to a cost of gasoline in this country.
And Yergin says if Katrina causes considerable damage, the resulting price spikes could affect the cost of heating your home this winter.
The price shock could add 20 to 30 cents a gallon to the cost of home heating oil this winter as well.
And if you cook on a stove using natural gas, the price of doing so might go up as well, since 20% of the country's natural gas comes from facilities in the Gulf of Mexico. But does that mean it might be time for the U.S. to tap into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve? No word tonight from the White House, which has said before it should only be used in an emergency. Rosalind Jordan, NBC News, the White House.
As Hurricane Katrina aims for New Orleans and the Gulf Coast, it's expected to rival some of the most destructive storms ever to hit this country. NBC's Ron Allen tonight on tracking the fury of a hurricane.
Extremely violent winds blast away at more than 155 miles per hour.
I thought I was gonna die. It was incredible.
Andrew, 1992. The storm surge rises near the height of a two-story building.
I thought the world was coming in. I thought the world was splitting open. I heard the roof come down.
Airplanes get tossed about. Boats land in the middle of the street. Category 5 storms leave everyone in their deadly path terrified.
Kids were saying, "Mommy, what happened? Why is God doing this to us?"
Only 3 ever have hit the U.S. Katrina is next.
Even if it weakens down to a Category 4, this is going to be one of the strongest hurricanes ever to hit the United States.
The strongest was the Labor Day hurricane in 1935 that swept through the Florida Keys, killing more than 400. Then came Camille in 1969.
Hurricane Camille will strike the Mississippi coast within a matter of hours.
It swamped parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. Winds so strong, the measuring instruments were destroyed. Survivors have painful memories of those lost.
A lot of them went to the church to escape the wrath of the hurricane, and the church caved in and killed 28 of them.
And southern Florida will never forget Andrew.
Daylight shows the astounding damage to some neighborhoods south of Miami.
Still America's costliest natural disaster at some $25 billion. So devastating, the name Andrew was removed from the list of hurricane names, so there won't be another Andrew again. And as forecasters track Katrina, they're leery that, like all huge hurricanes, it's erratic, unpredictable, and could turn in a different direction at any moment. The warnings cover a wide area.
To the east of there, you are at risk for tornadoes.
Lessons learned since America's deadliest hurricane. Galveston, 1900, a Category 4. 6,000 to 8,000 people died when warnings weren't taken seriously. A much different time than now. Those in Katrina's path know and fear what its awesome power can do. Ron Allen, NBC News, New York.
And we'll go back to Louisiana for an update on the hurricane a bit later, but there is other major news coming up this Sunday. In Iraq, the Constitution goes to the voters, and President Bush warns of more violence ahead. And later, a survivor's story, a family saved after a devastating plane crash.